Hello, welcome back. My name is Ari, and today I have a book haul, which is there's another stack back there. It's a very large book haul. So, if you're new to my channel, I do a mini game that's kind of based on drinking by my shelves, balancing the books, but not really. I put a number right here of the haulable books that I read this month, which, you know what, I don't remember what that number is. It's less than 12. Over here, I put the number of books that I hauled. This goes up as I haul the books. This only goes up if I haul a book that I have read in a previous month. I'm gonna tell you right now, I lost already. Normally what I do is roll over into the next month and I have to fix it by the next month, but because of my plans for November, that's not gonna happen. So this may have to be out of whack up through December, maybe into January, depending on how many books I get for Christmas. But I need to control myself. I need to control my shit. Anyway, books. The first one I want to talk about is probably the most exciting thing on this list, and that is Waif by Samantha Kolesnik. And this book is my very first physical ARC that I've ever been sent. So super excited. The author reached out to me directly and asked me if I would be interested in this book. She gave me a brief summary of it and I was like, oh my god, yes. This comes out December 1st, so I'm either going to read this in November towards the end of the month or maybe like right at the beginning of December. It's very short, so it shouldn't take me very long to read, but this sounds so fucking weird that I'm unbearably excited about it. I'm gonna read the back of it to you. Maybe you'll be interested and want to read this with me as well. Angela has everything she thought she ever wanted: a successful husband, a lavish house, and a bottomless fortune. But the sight of a strange man in a grocery store one night reawakens her dominant sexuality, and soon Angela embarks on a dangerous descent into the world of underground pornography and back alley plastic surgery. As the stakes get higher, long-buried memories resurface, and Angela finds herself enamored with Rena, a fetish film performer. With some help from a queer gang called the Waves, Angela is forced to make the decision between her unhappy upper-class life and the treacherous world of underground film. Like, I was sold with the words "a dangerous descent into the world of underground pornography and back alley plastic surgery." Like, what is this about? And I want to read it immediately, but I'm not going to because I want to make sure I read it right around the time that it actually releases, so I can give my review then. If you would like to see me make a video specifically on this book, because it sounds so bizarre and it sounds like it'll make a great video, let me know down in the comments below. But let's get on to the ones that I actually bought. So I wanted to read Witches of Ash and Ruin for a couple of projects. First off, this fits a bunch of prompts for the character creation, for G's Magical Readathon, and then I could use this for the Buzzwordathon, right? So I found this on Thrift Books, got it used, read it. This sucks, by the way, but when you buy on Thrift Books, if you spend a certain amount, you get free shipping. So I needed to spend more for free shipping because free shipping is more important than everything else. So I picked up The Year of the Flood by Margaret Atwood, which is the second book in her Oryx and Crake series, which I plan to continue reading in January, but I had a free book, and so that didn't actually up my shipping. I just got a free book, so I had to order another book. So I picked up The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon, and I don't know if I'm going to like this because one of the YouTubers whose tastes that I find very, very similar to my own, and we usually seem to like the same books, this is her favorite book of all time. But I've read The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon and I hated it. So this is either gonna be I hate this author or I just hated that one book by this author. I don't know when I'm actually gonna get around to reading this, but I have it now. And it was fairly cheap, so there you go. But that's not it. I needed 2 other books to read for my TBR this month, and I bought those too. I picked up Plain Bad Heroines by Emily N. Danforth. I think I got this at Barnes & Noble. And then The Relentless Moon, which I think I got off Amazon. I don't know where I bought these, but they're both like brand new copies. I have read both of these books because I needed them for my TBR this month, so there was a purpose to this shopping. And that's how I like to buy books, where I buy them specifically to read. They don't stay on my TBR very long, but sometimes that doesn't happen. That's the case with this stack, because my boyfriend and I went to the movies and there was a Barnes & Noble right next to the movies and I might have got carried away. The first 2 are Jinji Ito graphic novels. It was spooky month. I was kind of mostly looking at spooky books, but I heard so much about Jinji Ito and I wanted the holes or the circles one, but they were sold out. So I asked a bookseller there, and he is apparently a huge fan of Jinji Ito, and he recommended these 2. He said, this one is very hard to find, which is No Longer Human, and he said this one was his favorite. I did read this book today, but today is November, so it's not part of my October wrap-up, but you will see this in my November wrap-up, and it was really good. It was really, really creepy, so I'm looking forward to getting to this. I just don't really have plans to get to this, so I don't know when I'm gonna get to this. Next up in my horror book haul, because all of these are horror books, from Barnes & Noble, I picked up 2 of the books that I've been missing from Grady Hendrix, because I'm trying to get through his whole backlog. I have these 2, Final Girl Support Group, and then an unpublished novel that I can't remember the name of right now, to read from him, and I'm slowly working my way through them, though I don't have any specific plans to finish him soon. If you're really interested in me doing like Grady Hendrix recommendations or like ranking Grady Hendrix books and you want me to prioritize these faster, leave it in the comments. I can prioritize these. This one is We Sold Our Souls, which is apparently like selling your souls to be a famous rock band, or selling your soul to the devil to be a famous rock band, and it looks like a Rolling Stones cover. And then this is Horror Store, which is based on an IKEA. It's supposed to be really good, and I've heard nothing but great things about this, and I haven't heard much of anything at all about this. So interested to read both of these, hopefully soon, adding it to my Grady Hendrix collection, because so far I've pretty much liked everything that I've read by Grady Hendrix. Then boyfriend picked out The Troop by Nick Cutter for me. I've heard that this is like the most disgusting horror book, and it is the book that I am reading right now, so I should have an opinion on it by the end of November. Apparently there's a scene with worms, and I'm going to die. That's all I know about the book, is it's super disgusting, super fucking creepy. It's supposed to be like the scariest horror book of all time, just because like the graphic nature of it, and it seems kind of similar to, oh, shit, what is the name of that book? This is apparently a little bit similar to Lord of the Flies, where it's a bunch of young men on an island, but there is an adult with them in this case, and it's like a Boy Scout troop instead of just like a crash plane. And it's also supposed to be like way better than Lord of the Flies, because Lord of the Flies kind of sucks as a book. Yeah, I said it. Alright, that's the stack of stuff I bought for myself. These are the book box books. So, let's go through this. A lot of these I've actually already read, so. First up, I got from my Book Nerds Essentials box, which is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I'm just adding to my collection of classics. I have already read this. I read this in college, and it's good. It's a good book. I'm sure you've heard of Frankenstein. It's a good book. Next up in my Blacklit book box, I got Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is a story told in verse. It is fantastic. I do recommend listening to this as an audiobook instead of physically read it, unless you like really reading poetry. But it feels more like just a regular novel when you listen to it as an audiobook. So if you're not used to reading poetry, 100% audiobook it, and it's sounds great as an audiobook. So, but I have a physical copy now. Next up, I got the complete Cthulhu Mythos by H.P. Lovecraft, just another classic that I'm adding to my list. I don't know if this is different than the stories in the Necronomicon, because I already have the Necronomicon, so maybe this is a duplicate. If you know enough about the Cthulhu Mythos to know if these stories in here are the same as the ones in the Necronomicon, stick it in my comments. Please explain to me these things. Thank you. Next up is the Book of the Month book that I picked, which was The Perishing. I don't actually remember what this is about, but I obviously picked it, and I never read it, so this is going on my shelf with the rest of the Book of the Month Club books that I will eventually get to at some point. That is not right now. Then I got my 2 books from my sci-fi book box, which are The Glass Magician and The Lost Future of Pepper Harrow. I don't know what either one of these about, but they both have really pretty covers. So I'm excited to get to these, if nothing more than for the covers. And the last one is my Page One subscription for the month, which I don't know why they sent me this. This is the A People's History of Heaven. This is not fantasy, though I particularly asked for fantasy, and this is very obviously religious based, and I don't want to read just general fiction books about religion. So what I did and how Page One works is if you don't like the book that they send you, they'll send you a new one, and you don't have to send this one back. They just tell you to like donate it to like a little free library or pass it on to somebody who would like it. So with this book, I've got a couple of options. Why is there a feather right in front of my camera? With this book, I've got a couple of options that I want you guys to comment on in the comments. Should I read this? Should I stick this in my jar of doom as one of the books that I don't want to read and give it a shot, even though I really don't think I'm going to like it? Or should I just pass it on? Because I don't typically like to get rid of books that I haven't read, even when they're like gifted to me in like book boxes or stuff. So I feel like I should keep it and give it a shot, but I like actively know that I'm not going to probably like this. So is this something that you guys think I should give a shot? See if maybe the booksellers knew what they were talking about more than I thought, and this isn't as religious or bad as I think it's going to be, or just get rid of it and move on with my life. And I will be 100% donating this. If I get rid of it, I'm not going to try to like resell it or anything like that. But yeah, let me know what you think about that in the comments below. But yes, that was my absurdly big book haul. That is way more books than I actually read this month. So when we return to our regular scheduled programming in December, I will figure out how I'm going to make up for these, and I think I've got a plan, but I'll check back in with you on that next month. Anyway, that's all for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!